AITA for stopping my cousin from stealing my $8 million business. I built my startup from nothing. $8 million valuation. Years of work. And my cousin? He thinks he can just walk in and take it. He's harassing my employees, contacting investors, stalking the office. And my family says I'm the problem. I, 28M, recently hit a massive milestone with my startup. It just crossed an $8 million valuation. I built it from scratch. I'm talking years of late nights, 16-hour workdays, loans, networking nonstop, almost zero social life. I did everything alone. No one in my family helped me when I needed it the most. Not a single person. And now, they're acting like they have a say in my business. Enter my cousin, Derek, 31M. Derek has always been the kind of person who dismisses everything I do. Growing up, whenever I tried a project, he'd laugh, call it childish experiments, or some hobby that'll never go anywhere. At family events, he'd make snide remarks, smirk, and roll his eyes at me. Every single time. I tolerated it because, fine, family dynamics are messy, but I never thought he'd take it to this level. Suddenly, after my startup hit big, Derek decided he was my biggest fan. Out of nowhere, he's posting vague stuff on social media about me, texting me, proud of you, man, all that fake support nonsense. A few weeks ago, he even had the audacity to ask if he could sit in on my work for a few days to see how I run things. I thought, okay, maybe he's curious. Maybe he wants to learn. Harmless, right? No, wrong. The problem started almost immediately. He began telling my employees what to do. Not casually. He literally walked into meetings and corrected them, micromanaged their tasks, gave unsolicited advice about priorities, deadlines, and even workflow. Some employees came to me quietly, whispering, "Is he allowed to do this?" I had to suppress the urge to scream. Then he emailed our partners, not just checking in, but giving strategic recommendations, copying himself on threads, and signing his name as if he were a co-founder. Some partners actually reached out to me, confused, asking, "Wait, is Derek officially on your team now?" I swear I could feel my blood boiling. It got worse. He tried accessing our client database. One of our IT staff caught him snooping before he could get any sensitive info, but the fact that he even tried? Unbelievable. And last week, the final straw, he scheduled a call with one of our angel investors without telling me. During the call, he pitched a plan where he would oversee operations because, according to him, I was too reckless for such fast growth. My investor called me immediately, stunned, asking, "Is Derek involved in your company now?" I felt like punching something. I confronted Derek the moment he came back. His response, "You need to chill. I'm just helping guide things. Mom said this would be my role eventually anyway." I lost it. I yelled. I yelled like I've never yelled in my life. I told him he had zero authority, zero experience, and zero access unless I explicitly gave it. I told him to leave my office immediately. He tried to argue, saying I was being overly sensitive and controlling. I shouted back, calling him out for mocking me my entire life, for trying to insert himself into something he doesn't understand, and for acting like he's entitled to my success. Then came the family. My phone has been blowing up nonstop. Messages from every direction. "You humiliated him. You should let him help. Family should support each other. You're being petty. You're arrogant for thinking you can do this alone." I yelled at them. Literally yelled through the phone. I told my mom that her son has no right to be anywhere near my business. I told my uncle to stop treating me like a child and to stop sending me these condescending lectures. I told my aunts to quit trying to guilt me into letting Derek take over something he never built. Some people insulted me directly, calling me selfish, stubborn, arrogant, and even ungrateful. I lost it. I fired back, yelling at them, telling them they've never seen what I've been through, that they don't understand the hours, the stress, the sacrifices, the personal hell I went through to get here. I told them they've never built a thing in their lives, yet somehow they're qualified to lecture me on how to run my business. Even employees were coming to me, anxious about family pressure, whispering about whether Derek was going to come back or whether I should let him help. I screamed at them too, telling them to focus on their work, that Derek had zero place in this company, and that if anyone tried to involve him again, I would personally handle it. Derek didn't back down. He tried to play the victim, saying I was paranoid and that everyone is against me for just trying to help. I told him he was delusional, that his entire life he's underestimated me, and now he's trying to hijack the thing I worked my ass off to create. He argued. I shouted. He yelled back. I yelled louder. My voice was raw, shaking with rage, and every word was a mix of anger, disbelief, and pure exhaustion. Family messages kept coming in between the yelling matches. I was receiving 10 to 15 notifications a minute. I yelled at my phone. I yelled at my laptop. I yelled at the ceiling. I told my family that their opinions were irrelevant because Derek had no stake, no experience, and no right to demand anything. I accused them of being hypocrites hypocrites, saying they've never supported me when I actually needed them. Yet now they act like they have the moral high ground. Derek, of course, tried to spin it, claiming I'm overreacting, that I'm letting my ego control me, and that family is supposed to help each other. I yelled at him to shut up, called him out for years of insults, and reminded him that no amount of family connection grants him authority over what I built. He tried interrupting me. I shouted over him. He tried reasoning. I shouted louder. By the end of the day, I had blocked him from internal systems, changed passwords, and told employees explicitly not to acknowledge him in any professional capacity. But the family pressure didn't stop. Messages, texts, calls, group chats. Everyone suddenly had an opinion. I yelled back at some, ignored others, and honestly, I was at the point of screaming at anyone who dared to lecture me about letting Derek in. I've never felt so simultaneously exhausted, frustrated, and furious in my life. My blood still boils thinking about it. Derek continues texting me as if nothing happened. Family continues to lecture me like I owe them something. And the employees are all walking on eggshells because of the tension I've been forced to create just to protect what I built. Update 1. I can't even begin to describe the chaos that's unfolded in the last 48 hours. Derek apparently did not take my rejection quietly, like at all. Within a day, I started seeing posts on social media, screenshots being sent to me by employees, all about family betrayal and how I'm supposedly keeping someone with experience out of opportunities. The posts were full of vague, passive-aggressive nonsense, like he was trying to make himself look like the victim in some grand story while I'm apparently the villain. Then it got worse. Employees started coming to me, visibly nervous. One of our lead developers whispered, "I got a message from him last night. He wants me to share internal documents so he can help guide things." Another staffer admitted they'd already received texts from Derek telling them, "Don't trust management blindly. I can steer things in the right direction." I could feel my blood pressure skyrocket. I told them, loudly and sharply, "Do not engage with him. Do you hear me? I don't care if he calls, texts, or posts on social media. He has zero authority here. Zero. And anyone caught sharing internal info will be dealt with." My voice was shaking, and I could tell some of the younger employees were scared, but I wasn't backing down. I called my legal advisor immediately. I needed to make sure everything was airtight. Derek isn't officially part of the company, so legally I have the upper hand. But that doesn't make it any less infuriating, especially when the tension is spreading like wildfire. Just knowing he's out there, trying to manipulate people and paint me as the bad guy, makes me want to scream. Meanwhile, my phone is blowing up with family messages. My mom sent me this guilt-laden wall of text. "We raised you to be a team player. Derek isn't trying to hurt you. You should let him in. You're being unfair." I didn't reply. I couldn't. I was too angry. But the messages didn't stop. My uncle sent one saying, "You need to calm down. You're letting pride get in the way of family." My aunt chimed in with, "How can you treat someone who's just trying to help this way? You're overreacting." I yelled. I yelled at my phone. I yelled at the ceiling. I yelled at them in a voice so loud that I'm sure my employees could hear me through the walls. I told them, "Stop lecturing me. You have zero understanding of what I've been through. You've never built anything. You've never stayed up for nights on end, risking everything for this business. So don't sit there and tell me I'm being unfair." Then Derek called. I ignored it, but he left a voicemail, of course. It was dripping with condescension. "You're being paranoid. Everyone's against me. You should trust your family." I played it for one of my employees, just to vent, and couldn't stop myself. I yelled at them too. "Do you hear this? This is what I'm dealing with. Do you think I owe him or any of them anything? I built this from nothing." Employees were nervously glancing at each other, whispering in corners, clearly anxious that this family drama would spill further into their work. One of them muttered, "Are we okay?" I snapped back loudly, "No, we are not okay because someone thinks they can bully, manipulate, and lie their way into a business they have no stake in. Focus on work and ignore all of this. If anyone mentions Derek again, I will personally fire them on the spot." Do I make myself clear? And the family wasn't done. My mom sent another text while I was trying to handle emails, saying, "You're acting like a dictator. Derek isn't trying to harm you. He's trying to contribute. You're just being stubborn." I threw my phone across the desk. I yelled at it. I yelled at her. I shouted into the empty room. "Stubborn? I'm not stubborn. I'm not going to let a man-child who mocked me for years waltz into my company and act like he owns it." Derek even tried to pull some guilt moves on social media, posting things like, "Families should stick together. Some people would rather hoard success than share it." I saw it. I fumed. I wanted to text him back, to scream at him, to call him out in front of everyone, but I held myself back for now. My employees are already scared enough without me having a full-blown shouting match in front of them. My phone keeps buzzing. I keep reading texts from relatives insulting me, telling me I'm selfish, arrogant, controlling, ungrateful, you name name it. I fired back at them in messages, yelling, telling them to stop pretending they know the first thing about what it took for me to build this. I called them out for never supporting me when I actually needed it. I told them to stop trying to lecture me about family or business when they've never done a damn thing themselves. It feels like the entire world is screaming at me all at once. Derek's posts, his messages, my family texting nonstop, employees whispering. Everywhere I look, it's tension. I keep yelling at someone every 5 minutes, whether it's the phone, the ceiling, the employees, the emails. Every nerve in my body is frayed. Every time I think I can catch a breath, another message pops up, another post appears, another person insists I let him in or calm down or share my success. And I can't. I just can't. Not after everything he's done. Not after years of disrespect. Not after the audacity of trying to take over what I built with my own hands while pretending he's the helpful cousin. I don't owe him, and I don't owe any of these people lectures or advice or patience. Update 2, alright. So I thought things were already out of control after update 1. But this past week has felt like living inside a fire pit that someone keeps pouring gasoline on. Derek has officially gone from annoying to full-blown liability, and apparently, he thinks persistence equals ownership. The first major blow-up happened on Monday morning. One of our investors, someone I've known for years, someone who actually believed in me when my startup was literally just a messy binder and a half-broken laptop, called me sounding confused and uncomfortable. He goes, "Hey, I just got off the phone with Derek. Is everything okay over there?" Instant migraine. I asked what Derek said. Apparently, Derek had called him 3 separate times, leaving long voicemails that were basically speeches about how I was losing control of operations, risking millions, and in desperate need of mature oversight. Then he told the investor that he, Derek, was in discussions with the family about taking a leadership role to protect the business from reckless instability. When I say my jaw dropped, no, it cracked, it shattered, it evaporated. I immediately called Derek. He answered sounding smug, like he had been waiting for my reaction. Before I even said anything, he goes, "Good, you're calling. We need to talk about formalizing my role. Investors are responding well to me." Responding well? One literally told me he thought Derek was having some sort of delusional episode. I didn't yell at first. I tried to stay calm. I said, "Derek, stop contacting investors. Stop contacting anyone affiliated with the startup. You are not part of the company. You have no role. You have no access. You have no authority." He scoffed, actually scoffed. Then he said the line that made my brain short circuit. "I have every right to know what's happening with family money." I swear the silence that followed was so loud my ears rang. I said, "What family money? There is no family money in this. I built this. I funded this. You contributed nothing." He raised his voice instantly, yelling over me, "You think you're better than everyone now? You think success gives you the right to disrespect people who just want to help?" I yelled right back, "You're not helping. You're sabotaging. You're embarrassing yourself and me." He shouted something like, "Mom said I'm supposed to take on responsibility because you aren't stable enough to lead a growing company." And that's when I lost any remaining patience. I said, "Tell your mom she doesn't run my company, and neither do you. Stay out of my business before I involve lawyers." He screamed, "Do it. I'm not scared of you." I said, "Good. Stay unblocked for 5 seconds because I'm blocking you everywhere after this." He yelled something unintelligible, probably more nonsense, and I hung up. Then I blocked him. But blocking him was like swatting one mosquito in a swamp, because not even an hour later, my phone exploded with messages from relatives. One aunt spammed me with paragraphs calling me ungrateful. Another cousin said I owed the family a chance to share in success. My uncle left a voice note shouting something like, "You're acting like a dictator. Derek wants to help. Stop being arrogant." I actually laughed at that. A bitter, exhausted, borderline hysterical laugh. My mom called twice. I didn't pick up the first time. The second time I answered, already drained. She didn't even ask how I was. She didn't ask if the company was okay. She didn't ask if Derek had crossed boundaries. She just started yelling, "You don't get to shut people out because you're having a tantrum." A tantrum? I yelled back. I couldn't help it. I had held so much in, and hearing my own mom defend Derek's delusions made something snap. I said, "He is harassing investors. He is contacting employees. He is trying to wedge himself into a company he did not build. And instead of telling him to stop, you're yelling at me." She tried guilt tripping. "He feels left behind. You should lift family up with you." I said, "Not when family is actively trying to take what I built." She said, "He wouldn't feel the need to step in if you didn't isolate yourself." I hit back with, "I isolated myself. I worked. That's what I did. Nobody else cared until money appeared." She didn't like that. Her tone flipped from disappointed to vicious. "You're becoming cold. Maybe Derek is right about you being unstable." That was it. The last straw. I said, "If you choose to believe his fantasies, go ahead. But you don't get to insult me and expect me to stay silent. Don't call me again to defend his behavior." She said, "Fine. Be alone then." I hung up. Blocked her too. Didn't feel good. Didn't feel victorious. It just felt like punching a wall with my bare hands. Then the employees got dragged dragged into it. A few of them approached me privately saying Derek had sent them messages claiming, "Don't trust him blindly. He's hiding things. He's not listening to professionals. I can help stabilize things if you need guidance." One employee even showed me a voice note where Derek said, "I'll be taking a bigger leadership role soon. Don't be surprised." When I heard that, I actually said out loud, "What is wrong with him?" I had to reassure my team that Derek has zero involvement and will never have involvement. Some of them were scared he might show up at meetings again. One said, "He kept saying he was basically running things behind the scenes." I had my legal advisor draft a written notice declaring Derek is prohibited from contacting any representatives of the company. Not official paperwork, just a documented boundary for now, but enough to protect us if he escalates. And knowing Derek, escalation is practically his love language. Because last night, his mom, my aunt, sent me 27 messages in a row, not exaggerating, all in all caps, all screaming about me, humiliating Derek, and destroying family unity. She ended with, "You're not as successful as you think. This company will crash and you'll come crawling back." I replied with, "If you think threats will make me hand anything over, you're even more delusional than he is." She instantly fired back, "You disrespectful little." I blocked her mid-sentence. At this point, the only people not yelling at me are the investors and my employees, which says so much about where the real professionalism lies. My phone is still buzzing as I write this. More cousins, more uncles, more nonsense. I haven't slept well in days. I'm exhausted, frustrated, and honestly disgusted at how fast everyone turned on me the minute my success became family property in their eyes. Update 3. About a week ago, Derek started physically showing up outside the office. Not at the door like a normal person. He'd hover near the parking area, pacing around, pretending he just happened to be in the neighborhood. One of the employees texted me a photo of him standing with his arms crossed, staring at the building like he was waiting for someone to challenge him. The first time, security politely asked him to leave. He rolled his eyes, told them he was basically family to the owner, and tried walking inside anyway. The guard blocked him, and Derek exploded, swearing, accusing them of abusing authority, ranting about how the company was more his than mine because he was older and wiser. Security had to escort him all the way off the lot. I wasn't there at the time, but when they told me what happened, I saw red. I called Derek immediately, and the second he picked up, he started yelling. Not talking, yelling. "You think you can run everything without me? You think you're smarter than me? You think money makes you better?" I yelled right back. I wasn't calm. I wasn't polite. I wasn't diplomatic. I was sick of him acting like I owed him something he never earned. I told him straight up, "Get this through your head. You are nothing to this company. You have no authority, no role, no permission, and no chance of ever stepping foot in here again. Stop harassing my staff before I get the police involved." He tried to cut me off and shout over me, but I didn't let him. I was done being patient. I hung up mid-yell. That night, he left me a voicemail that actually made my stomach drop. "You think you can just build an empire and cut out family? You'll regret this." The tone wasn't angry. It was low, bitter, and almost mocking, like he was promising something. I played it for my legal advisor, who immediately told me to keep every message and to document everything, especially with how erratic Derek was acting. But that wasn't even the worst of it. The next morning, one of my senior developers came into my office looking uneasy. She told me Derek had reached out to her on social media asking for just a small bit of insight. Apparently, he told her he needed access to internal project timelines because he was trying to correct my mistakes before they cost us millions. She didn't respond, thankfully, but she admitted she felt intimidated because he kept messaging repeatedly, even after she ignored him, saying things like, "You're too smart to trust him blindly. You know he's not handling things right. I can get you into real leadership positions when things change soon." That last part actually made me slam my palm on my desk. I told her she did the right thing not responding, and I apologized for anything he'd said. None of this was her fault. I ended up calling a company-wide meeting to address everything. I told my staff point blank that Derek is not involved in the company in any capacity. They are not to engage with him under any circumstances, and if he contacts them, they need to report it immediately. I tried to keep my voice steady, but I know people could hear how angry I was underneath. Some employees were visibly shaken. Some were angry on my behalf. A few looked embarrassed, like they believed some of what Derek had been spreading behind my back. Later in the day, I posted an official notice on our internal communications board, effective immediately. Do not communicate with any outside individuals claiming to represent the company or to oversee operations. Any unauthorized outreach or requests for information must be reported to management at once. The tension in the building was thick for days. People were whispering in hallways, checking around corners, looking twice out the windows. Derek had successfully made the whole place feel unsafe. safe. Then my family jumped in again. I got a call from my aunt, Derek's mom, and I swear, she didn't even say hello. She just started screaming into the phone, "Stop painting my son as a threat. He's trying to help you, and you're treating him like garbage." I yelled right back, because at this point I didn't care who heard it. "Your son is harassing my staff, showing up unannounced, and lying to investors. He's a problem because he made himself a problem." She tried to spin it, saying, "Family comes before business," and I told her flat out, "Not when family acts like this." She hung up on me. Right after that, I started getting messages from cousins, uncles, people I barely talk to. Everything from guilt trips, "You're forgetting where you came from," to insults, "Money made you arrogant," to outright threats, "Stop embarrassing the family or we're done with you." I fired back at a few of them. Yeah, I admit it. After a day of screaming calls, harassment, and Derek's looming presence, I snapped. I told them if they care so much, maybe they can hire Derek to run something of theirs, because I sure as hell won't. The replies I got back were nothing short of venomous. At this point, I'm mentally drained. My phone won't stop buzzing. Every time I look outside, I wonder if Derek's going to be parked there again. Half of my relatives are treating me like I'm the villain in some family drama I never asked to be part of. Update, for I'm at the point where I genuinely don't know how my nerves haven't snapped in half. Every day for the last 3 weeks has felt like someone took a sledgehammer to my sanity and just kept going. Derek has completely spiraled, and the fallout is spreading through every corner of my life. My business, my home, my messages, my employees, everything. It started with another social media explosion. Not just a little post. This time it was a whole paragraph rant with dramatic music in the background, like he was filming a trailer for his personal revenge movie. Someone sent it to me instantly. He wrote, "Some people forget who was there before the money. Some people think success gives them permission to treat family like dirt." I tried to offer help, but he'd rather hoard everything than let someone else shine. I swear my stomach dropped so hard I almost threw up. He painted himself like some selfless martyr and made me look like the villain of the century. And the worst part? People believed him. Comments flooding in. Shares. Reactions. His friends hyping him up. Some random people calling me greedy, selfish, controlling. I didn't reply. I didn't comment. But inside, I was shaking. Not from guilt, just from the sheer rage of watching someone rewrite reality in real time. Investors called me to reassure me. Multiple times, actually. One said, "We trust you. We're not concerned about him." Another told me not to waste emotional energy on a guy acting out for attention. That helped. It really did. But the outside noise, that didn't stop, because my entire family decided to launch a full-scale intervention campaign. Calls from numbers I don't recognize. Messages from relatives I hadn't talked to since I was a teenager. People lecturing me about forgiveness, family unity, not burning bridges, and why not give him a chance. I can't even describe the level of internal pressure I was holding in. Yesterday, it shattered. My mom called for the 7th time before noon. 7th. I finally picked up, hoping maybe she'd changed her tune, but instead she started with, "You're being cruel. Derek is reaching out because he wants to fix things. You're shutting him out for no reason." No reason? No reason? I completely lost it. Everything I had been swallowing for weeks just exploded. "Fix things." I yelled so loud my throat actually hurt. "He has been harassing my staff, MOM. He's been stalking the building. He contacted my investors. He went behind my back and started lies online. This is not fixing anything." She snapped right back, "You're exaggerating. You always exaggerate when you don't want to admit you're wrong." And that's when something inside me broke. "Are you serious? You think I'm exaggerating? You didn't care about me or this business when I was sleeping on the office floor and eating instant noodles to pay off loans. You only care now because Derek decided to play victim." She said I'd changed. She said money corrupted me. She said I was turning into someone she didn't recognize. And I yelled louder than I've yelled at anyone in my life. I changed? I changed. I worked myself into the ground for years, and the second I have something to show for it, you all come out of the woodwork to tell me how to run it. I owe Derek nothing. Nothing. I slammed the phone down so hard it bounced off the desk. Employees had heard everything. They peeked around corners, flinching. I was so on edge I snapped at them too. "This is not a spectator sport." I yelled. "If you have time to eavesdrop, you have time to get your work done." I regret the tone, but at that moment, I was vibrating with anger and exhaustion. Then, like the universe was trying to mock me, Derek's cousin, a guy I've spoken to exactly once in my life, sent me a long message dragging me for being cruel, cold, a bully, and the reason the family is falling apart. I yelled at my phone again, out loud, alone in the office. "Bullying? He's the one harassing people. He's the one spreading lies. What do you all think I I owe you. Employees heard that too. Some looked scared. Some avoided eye contact. One asked, very quietly, if HR should be involved. And honestly, I didn't even have the energy to care. I just told them firmly that Derek had zero authority, zero role, zero involvement in this company, and anyone caught coordinating with him would face immediate consequences. Harsh, maybe. Necessary, absolutely. But Derek wasn't done. He somehow convinced a handful of junior employees, people who don't know the full story, that I was spiraling, that I didn't know how to lead anymore, and that he could guide the company better. Whisper campaigns, side comments, little things that added up. I had to pull each one aside, one by one, repeatedly, clearing everything up, making expectations explicit, sometimes raising my voice, sometimes full-on arguing because they didn't understand the severity. They understand now. Meanwhile, my phone keeps buzzing nonstop. Family group chats blowing up with, "You're too emotional. Just hear him out. He didn't mean it. Stop being dramatic. You're making the family look bad. It's just business. Don't overreact." Every single message felt like a weight crushing my chest. And through all of this, Derek keeps posting, keeps calling, keeps stirring things up, keeps acting like I'm the one ruining everything. The worst part, there is no break, no pause, no moment to breathe. Every day, I wake up tense, heart pounding, wondering what fresh nonsense I'm going to have to deal with. The business is fine. Investors are steady. Numbers are strong. But my personal life, my mental health, my peace, destroyed. I haven't gone public. I haven't said a word online. I'm trying to stay professional, trying to keep the company stable, trying not to let this chaos leak into the business. Update 5 this past month has been nothing but pressure, yelling, betrayal, and drama from people who claim to love me, while simultaneously doing everything in their power to sabotage my life. I've been living in a constant state of high alert, my phone vibrating non-stop, people knocking on my office door every 10 minutes, and employees whispering Derek's name like it's some cursed word that's going to summon him into the hallway. Then this week happened. Derek decided that if he couldn't convince investors, employees, or family to force his way into the company, the next best tactic was to recruit mutual friends. Friends, people I haven't had a drink with in years, people who barely know what I even do for a living. These casual acquaintances suddenly popped up, one after another, trying to mediate. It started with a text from an old friend, Mateo. I hadn't talked to him in probably a year and a half. His message was a wall of text like he was some professional conflict counselor. "Hey man," Derek reached out. "I think you both need to talk this out. Maybe split responsibilities? You're both talented. Family doesn't have to fall apart over business." I stared at that message for a full minute, jaw clenched so hard I'm shocked my teeth didn't crack. Split responsibilities. Responsibilities of my company. A company he has never worked at. A company he has no stake in. A company he is actively trying to destroy by lying, manipulating, and harassing everyone involved. I called Mateo immediately. I didn't even give him time to send a cheery follow-up emoji. He answered with this smug, "Hey, bro," voice, as if he didn't just say something absolutely delusional. So I snapped. I yelled, "Are you out of your mind? He has zero stake, zero involvement, zero rights. Do not talk to me about splitting responsibilities with someone who's been stalking the office." He tried to calm me down like I was the unhinged one. "Bro, relax." I cut him off instantly. "No, you relax. Stay the hell out of my business." Literally, he started lecturing me, telling me I'm acting cold and letting success get to my head. I yelled louder. "Success? Success? I built this from nothing while you and Derek were partying and wasting time. Don't call me cold because I don't want a parasite leeching off my work." He scoffed, and said, "You don't have to be such an asshole about it." I shouted, "I'll be whatever I need to be to protect my company. If Derek shows up again, security will drag him off the property." I hung up on him. 5 minutes later, messages poured in from the friend group like a contaminated wave. "You're being dramatic. You're too aggressive. You've changed. You think you're better than everyone." I responded to every single one with variations of, "Stay out of this. Your opinion doesn't matter. You know nothing. Stop acting stupid." One friend, Karina, told me I was bullying Derek, which triggered the angriest, most unfiltered yelling I've ever done. I shouted into my phone like she could feel the vibration of every word through the screen. "Bullying. He's been harassing me for a month. He's been contacting investors and lurking outside the office. If you think that makes me a bully, you're either blind or brain dead." She blocked me. Fine. Good riddance. I don't need people that dense anywhere near me. Meanwhile, inside the company, tension skyrocketed. Employees started reporting that Derek was still trying to contact them, DMing them on social media, offering friendly advice, trying to get information about meetings and product plans. Some even told me they were scared to reject him directly because he kept insisting I won't mind and he's family. I called an emergency meeting and I yelled a lot. I told the entire room, if anyone shares a single piece of information with Derek, you're done. Terminated. I don't care if he cries, begs, or shows up with flowers. He is banned. He is locked out. He is nothing to this company. I could feel the shock ripple through the room. Some employees looked offended. One whispered, that was harsh, under their breath, not quietly enough. I turned to them, looked them dead in the eye, and yelled, harsh? Harsh? What's harsh is someone trying to tear down something I built. You think he cares about you? You think he cares about the business? He cares about power he didn't earn. They went dead silent. After that meeting, I contacted legal. I wasn't taking chances anymore. I had every NDA tightened, every access point, every login, every document, every pathway reinforced. Derek will never slip through cracks again. I authorized new badges, new security protocols, a direct instruction: if Derek steps foot anywhere near the building, security removes him immediately. No talking, no waiting. No, but he's family. I am done, absolutely done. Yet the calls from relatives kept coming. Relentless, judgmental, manipulative. Why can't you just let him help? You're tearing the family apart. You're humiliating your own brother. I don't recognize you anymore. And every time I yelled so hard my voice cracked multiple times this week. The screaming, the frustration, the betrayal. It's like Derek infected the whole family with some kind of delusional virus. Because they all refuse to understand one simple thing. Derek is not part of my company. He will never be part of my company. Update 6. I honestly don't even know where to start this week because Derek somehow managed to ratchet the chaos up yet again. If I thought the previous weeks were bad, they were just a warm-up. The level of stress, tension, and yelling in my life has now officially reached a point I didn't think possible. It started on Monday morning with an email blast. Derek somehow got access to some of our internal staff emails, not through hacking, just social engineering and manipulation, and sent a long, condescending, passive-aggressive masterpiece of a message to nearly everyone. He framed it as friendly advice, but it was clearly an attempt to undermine me, implying I was reckless, that I was alienating employees, and that the company's future might be in jeopardy without someone mature guiding it. He even tried to make it sound like I was incapable of leadership. I found out about it within 5 minutes when 3 employees came running to my office, visibly anxious. I grabbed my phone, my hands were shaking with rage, and I started replying to texts from my team while simultaneously drafting an emergency all-staff meeting. During the meeting, I exploded. I don't mean a polite correction. I yelled. I yelled louder than I've ever yelled in any professional environment. Listen to me, all of you. I started. Derek is not part of this company. He has never been part of this company. He has no authority here, no access. If you have any communication with him, anything, you will be removed. Do you hear me? Some employees started nodding nervously. Others avoided my gaze. I could feel the tension in the room, thick enough to choke on. One timid employee muttered, but he's family. I whipped my head toward them, voice screaming, veins popping. Family? Do you think family gives someone the right to harass, manipulate, and threaten the company you work for? Do you? Another tried to interject. I just think he might have some good points. I cut them off mid-sentence, nearly spitting words. Good points? He sent a message to everyone implying I'm incompetent. He's lying. He's stalking people. He's trying to take my business. If you think that's good points, you are completely out of your mind. After the meeting, I spent the next hour personally checking in with staff. Everyone was shaken. Some admitted they had received DMs from Derek suggesting he could guide them or help steer the company. I had to pull each one aside, one by one, and lay down the law again. I even ended up yelling at a couple more because they hesitated or showed even a hint of uncertainty. Meanwhile, my phone was exploding. Family members calling, messaging, texting, group chats blowing up. My mom sent me a 12-paragraph long text this time, telling me I was destroying family bonds, that I was too proud to see reason, and that Derek was only trying to help. I read it, then yelled into the phone like she could feel every syllable through the screen. Help, help. You people call harassment help. You have no idea what I've been dealing with. He is not helping anyone. He is destroying everything I built, and you are too blind or too stupid to see it. Then came the insults. You've become arrogant. You're impossible. Money has ruined you. I didn't even pause. I yelled back so loud my throat burned. Arrogant. Impossible. I worked my back into the ground. I built this company from nothing. Nothing. And now everyone who never cared a second in their life is suddenly an expert? You're insulting me? I've earned every damn thing here while you've been judging me. The employees outside my office could hear everything. Some pressed themselves against the walls, clearly terrified. A few whispered that they might contact HR. I didn't care at that moment. I had to let them understand the seriousness of this. After cooling down for a few minutes, I contacted my lawyer. We finalized every possible legal protection, NDAs, access restrictions, and instructions that if Derek appears anywhere near the company property, security must must remove him immediately without question. No negotiation, no warning. Despite all of that, the harassment hasn't stopped. Derek continues to post publicly, continues sending messages, continues manipulating any family member who will listen. My phone keeps buzzing nonstop, and every time I glance at it, I feel like I'm walking on a minefield of guilt tripping, insults, and demands to reconsider. I have yelled at everyone who insults me, my family, friends, even distant relatives. I have shouted at employees who hesitate or question me. Every day, my voice cracks, my throat aches, and my heart races. The stress is suffocating, but I can't back down because this is the only way to protect my company. Update 7. It all began Monday morning when Derek tried one last desperate, audacious, utterly reckless move. Somehow, he got a hold of a small investor who hadn't been looped in before, someone I'd barely met personally, and pitched himself as the stabilizing force the company needed. He didn't just suggest guidance. He flat out claimed I was reckless, immature, and unfit to handle growth. I found out within minutes when that investor called me, stunned, confused, horrified, and asking if I knew about this. I promised to handle it, immediately made it crystal clear to the investor that Derek had zero authority, and cut him off entirely. But by the time I hung up, my blood was boiling hotter than I thought physically possible. My chest felt tight, my hands shook, and my brain went into overdrive thinking about everything Derek had already done to harass staff, contact investors, and manipulate people. I called Derek. I yelled, and I don't mean a polite, "We need to discuss this." I mean full on, scream into the phone, veins popping, shaking with rage, yelling, "You will never touch this company again. Do you hear me? Zero access, zero authority, zero rights. You think you can waltz in, lie, manipulate, harass my employees, and somehow that's okay? It is not." He laughed, that cold, infuriating, mocking laugh. And then, unbelievably, he said, "You're just scared. Mom said this was my turn." I lost it completely, screaming back louder than I ever thought my lungs could handle. Scared. I've been building this empire while you were calling my work childish. I've been working 16-hour days, risking loans, losing sleep, risking my sanity, putting my heart and everything I own on the line. And you have the nerve to say this is your turn? Get out of my life. Now, after that call, I didn't wait. I posted an emergency notice to staff, clarifying once again, no authority, no access, no influence for Derek. Anyone caught speaking to him or entertaining his lies would face immediate termination. Security was on high alert, instructed to escort him out immediately if he showed his face. I followed up with personal messages to every employee, reiterating the rules, because after 6 weeks of nonstop chaos, I couldn't risk anyone assuming maybe he's allowed. And then the family blow-up began. Oh, the family. Messages, calls, texts, group chat notifications, all piling up like a tidal wave of accusations. I was destroying family relationships, too proud, too arrogant, heartless, cold, unreasonable, and a dozen more variations of the same insult. Every buzz of my phone felt like another punch in the gut. My mom sent a 6-page text, meticulously breaking down how I was tearing the family apart, insisting Derek only wanted to help and that I was blinded by my ego. I read it, my hands trembling, then yelled so loudly at my phone I thought the walls would shake. "Help, help. You call harassment help. Do you have any idea what I've been dealing with? He is not helping. He is destroying everything I've built, and you people are too blind, too self-absorbed, or too naive to see it." Then the floodgates opened. Cousins, distant aunts, even family friends I barely knew chimed in. "You've changed. Money has ruined you. You're arrogant. You're heartless. You're a monster." I screamed at each one, verbally hammering my phone until my ears rang. Arrogant, heartless, monster. I built this from nothing. Nothing. I poured blood, sweat, and tears into this company while you were ignoring me, judging me, laughing at me, or acting like I was a fool. And now you dare lecture me. You think you can call me a monster? You know nothing. Derek didn't stop, of course. He called multiple times, left passive-aggressive voicemails, sent manipulative texts to staff, tried to whisper rumors to investors. I combed through every single one personally, yelling at employees who hesitated, making it abundantly clear he has no authority, no access, no influence. Anyone caught entertaining even a hint of his manipulations would be terminated immediately. I don't care if you're a friend, a family member, or someone who thinks he means well. By Wednesday, Derek posted publicly on social media one last desperate, dramatic, attention-grabbing post about being wronged by family and being shut out of success that was always meant to be shared. I didn't read it. I didn't even glance at the comments. I had no energy left for lies. Every notification felt like another drop in a bucket that had been overflowing for weeks. Then came the legal intervention. My legal team drafted a full cease and desist, and Derek received it. The letter was explicit, unambiguous, enforceable. Any attempt to contact the company, employees, or investors would result in immediate legal action. No exceptions, no family excuses. No, I'm trying to help. The rules were now law. After that, finally, the chaos slowed. My phone stopped blowing up every few minutes. Employees visibly relaxed. Investors were reassured. Derek hasn't made another move in days. The end. Your cousin basically conducted a hostile takeover powered by delusion and Wi-Fi, marched around your office like a discount sitcom CEO, and then phoned investors as if your company were a community bake sale he accidentally chaired. Meanwhile, your relatives acted like your startup was a family casserole where everyone randomly dumps ingredients and demands credit. Your reaction? Completely reasonable. He barged into meetings, barked orders, chased staff, stalked the parking lot, and behaved like a man who thinks job title is something you manifest by shouting loudly near a building. You protected your employees, your investors, your data, your sanity, and frankly, the entire universe from Derek logic. That's leadership, not villainy. So yes, not AITA. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Got a story to share? Drop it in the comments and let us know which one was your favorite. If you enjoyed this video, you'll definitely want to check out AITA for saying no to my uncle's $480,000 scheme. Click here to watch it now.